Today it is wet, windy, and breezy, which suggests strongly a very dreary day. So, how do you cancel one suggestion for another? You simply understand the power of suggestion and substitute something that is tropical, warm, and wonderful. In my case, I substituted that dreary day with the thought of Yellow Yam, the food of Usain Bolt. So there it is, Yellow Yam with codfish and onions. Let's get started. First of all, have a pot of water right next to you as you prepare the yellow yam, because as soon as you cut into the yellow yam, it begins to change colors. That is normal. As soon as yam is exposed to the air, it will change colors. It'll get much darker the longer it is exposed to the air. So, okay, if you live in an area where you can get yellow yam right away, then that's what you should do, because the yam you're looking at has traveled thousands and thousands of miles, and there's no way of telling how long it's been sitting on the shelf. So this is what the yam looks like here, where I live. So what you need to do is to go to your local Caribbean store and buy fresh yellow yam. Peeling yellow yam is very tricky because the skin is very tough, and once you cut into it, it is very slippery. So be very careful what you're doing. Alright, so you cut up your yam in slices and you take all the skin off. And as you do, drop it into water as soon as you can, because like I said, it will change colors on you. That's just a natural way of yellow yam. Different people have different ways to peel the yam. This is my way. I cut them in slices and then I take the skin off this way. Your question about now should be, so is it worth it to go through all this trouble? Yes, it is. Because yam, by the way, has got B1, B2, B3, B6, folic acid, an excellent source for fiber. It provides a lot of energy. Just ask Usain Bolt. It's rich in potassium, and it also lowers bad cholesterol and is extremely high in protein. This is a wonderful food to eat. It is also gluten-free and no fat, also an extremely poor source for iron, and that's good for men, because men, especially older men, should not be taking iron. Okay, so in the pot it goes, and while it's in the pot, we're going to prepare our onion, codfish, and scallion, along with some tomatoes. In the meantime, when your yam begins to boil, set your timer, because it's going to be ready in 32 minutes, maybe 33 minutes, really. And while it's boiling, relax and do something. In my case, of course, again with the power of suggestion, looking out my back door, I saw the rain and I just imagined myself being in the tropical country. Have you ever taken a nap while it's very hot and raining? Perhaps outdoors under a gazebo, a protected gazebo, and the sound of the rain puts you into such a deep, deep and wonderful sleep. If you've never tried it, you should. The sound of the rain has a very hypnotic, soothing, calming, and wonderful effect on sleep. Okay, let's get back to this latitude. So, we have our codfish, our onions, and our tomatoes, along with some scallion, all prepared. Now is a good time to add all the good things that you would like to add to your codfish and tomatoes and onions. In the meantime, in the frying pan, this time I'm not using coconut oil, I'm using a pat of butter on medium heat, and then I simply add everything. Onions, the codfish, the tomatoes. I simply added everything in my skillet. Actually, there's nothing much to cook. All I want to do is just to clarify everything. After all, the codfish is already cooked. It is dried codfish, by the way. Dried, salted codfish. By the way, this combination that you're looking at right here is excellent, with about a half a teaspoon of vinegar and some black pepper as much as you can handle. It is really very good on toast. So, you don't have to make this just for yam. You can make it and use it on anything, really. If you're a fan of onions and tomatoes, dried codfish, scallion, a little bit of vinegar, and some salt and pepper, you're all set. To recap, the yam took about 32 minutes or so to cook, and this combination will take maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes maximum to cook, and quite frankly, you're ready. You're ready to enjoy the yam along with the codfish and onions, or you can have the yam with anything you wish. Really, anything you wish. Needless to say, the onion combination is excellent by itself. It might have been raining outside, as a matter of fact it was, but inside my kitchen it was all tropical. Tropical. I had some ice cold tomatoes on my dish. In addition to the ice cold tomatoes, of course, I added my yam. I didn't care that it was discolored. I mean, there's not much I could have done about that anyway, but it did not distract from the flavor. It was excellent. And along with that, of course, I added my onion, codfish, tomatoes, and scallion mix. It was wonderful. Just to be clear, this is not the best way or the quintessential way to prepare yam, but it is my way, and it was delicious. And just a reminder, please, you keep your comments and your suggestions coming in. I really welcome your comments and your suggestions. And as I've always said, be creative when you're cooking. It is a wonderful way to be as creative as you want to be. Bon appetit!